in another outstanding matchup coming up this Saturday, October 21st. We'll get a chance to see two more young fighters coming together to prove their wares. And that'll be as Alexis Rocha is going to take on Giovanni Santillan. This fight is a Golden Boy promotion. It'll be broadcast on Dazn, and a battle of two men who could possibly be fighting in a phone booth. And we know how the phone booth wars turn out. They are exciting for the fans. Let's talk a little bit more about this particular matchup. Are you ready for a showdown? You know, something like from the Old West, huh? where two guys just come in there and go at it. Well, this Saturday, October 21st, when Alexis Rocha takes on Giovanni Santilla, it could be just what the doctor ordered. These two men are coming in to face one another, and it's going to be for the WBO, NABO welterweight title. But when you look at a fighter like Alexis Rocha, he kind of brings that come forward style. He likes to pin guys against the ropes and bang on them. He has good punching power. And we remember when he fought Blair Cobbs, he upset Cobbs, who was favored in the fight, but he beat the crap out of Blair Cobbs and had his fro waving in the breeze. But I'll tell you something about Alexis Rocha. He lost to a boxer, Rashidi Ellis. And the southpaw, Rocha, who's 26 years old, and he's 5'10" with a 70-inch reach, is going to come into this particular fight trying to turn away the advances of Giovanni, who also happens to be a southpaw and is 5'8", with a 68.5-inch reach, but he's 31 years of age and he's undefeated. And we know that these fighters that are undefeated often are hard to defeat at first go round. So when we look at the records that these men bring into the ring for the styles that they fight, you may toss that out of the window what their records are. This is going to come down to what's inside of each man. Both are southpaws. Both like to rumble on the inside. And watching the film on Giovanni, he goes to the body like nobody's business. I mean, his right hook and uppercut to the breadbasket and liver is a powerful shot. But then again, you have Rocha, who throws that straight left down the pipe with a lot of pop on it. He's a strong fighter. I think whomever after the weigh-in comes in and has rehydrated properly is going to have the advantage in this fight. And whomever is the more clever of the two in the fight is going to have the advantage towards being victorious. This is one of those fights that their styles are quite similar and their purpose in fighting are quite similar. So what's going to happen is someone's going to have to outthink the other guy. And with Giovanni being an undefeated fighter still, he may have the edge in that department because he's undefeated, doesn't know what losing is. But Rocha is a fighter that Golden Boy has been moving a certain kind of way in the sport. So there are some advantages that he has. But looking over their recent fights, I do have to say that Rocha has fought possibly the better opposition. Yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to the post-fight show with Stormybman for this Saturday, October 21st, 2023. And we are here for the post-fight show The Dazn card featuring Rocha versus Santillan has just wrapped up to an exciting conclusion and a pretty good day filled with boxing. There was a Skysports card promoted by Boxer that featured the cruiserweights, Mikhail, Lowell against Isaac Chamberlain. And then earlier today we had Jack Catterall taking on Jorge Linares. So we are here for the post-fight show. We're going to feature Rocha versus Santillan since that was the fight that wrapped the evening up. But I am here to tell you that I played a bit of my own video opening up tonight's show because I want it to be a testament to the work that I put in when I bring you content. As of the time that I was putting that together to show you this clip of this video this evening, I want to let you all know that, to my dismay, that particular video only has 24 views. 24 views. Now, when I talk about people being disrespectful to my channel, understand that it is said with sincerity. Because some of you watched that fight this evening. Some of you didn't know who that was in there with Lex. But you'll come around here, salute Sensei, OG. But you won't even watch my videos. If you listen to the sound bite, some of you are just rolling into the building. Plenty of you are still peeping through the blinds in the bushes. But if you listen to the opening of that video, I told you exactly what was going to happen with this last fight of the evening. I had studied both men. I knew that it was going to be a fight worth tuning into. I said it at the end of the video. Make sure you tune in and check this out, because it's the type of fighting, it's the type of boxing match that boxing supporters like to see. This is what you want to see, is it not? It doesn't matter if it's your guy or some guy. People want to see that type of action. And let it be said by me that this is the type of thing that happens when you match quality fighters up against quality fighters who look to do something in the sport. It's not someone trying to protect their record. It's not someone who just wants to look good and swim without getting wet. Shout out to Nazim Richardson. RIP. This is about levels. And you can look good against these guys that they schedule you to face night in and night out on paper. But when you get in there against someone who has equal talent and ability, then it becomes about who wants it more inside. Some people have never been asked to turn up. And when they are called upon to answer that bell, sometimes no one is home. You saw that tonight. I watched Giovanni in preparation for my video on that fight. And I said, this kid is going to come and make a hell of a fight out of this, and Lex better be ready. Now, I know Lex has been feasting on whom Golden Boy has had available to feed. But the one thing that nobody could measure was the desire of Giovanni. See, the intangibles will show their head when you least expect it. 31 years of age, 31-0, now 32-0, with 17 KOs. Quietly awaiting his opportunity. And tonight, he got his opportunity. He answered the bell. Not only did he answer the bell, but from the opening bell, he sent a message that Lex didn't recognize, nor did his people. Go back to earlier in the fight card when they showed them walking into the stadium. The way Rocha walked in the venue with that little saunter, chin up in the air, all arrogant like he, ready for his close-up. Smug. I'm like, you know what? I don't see the same eye of the tiger that he should have, because he's going in there against someone familiar. If some of you had a chance to listen to some of the horrible announcing for the fight, you would have heard them say that these guys have sparred numerous rounds in the gym together. So they were very familiar with one another. But not to digress. From the opening bell, Giovanni sent messages to Rocha right upside his head. I mean, he was hitting that sucker with the blow of death, and I loved it, because I've talked about this before. When you want to send a message, personalize it. That's what we saw. Let me go to the chat and see who's in the building. Already almost 50-something people checked me out already, but less than 20 likes. Look at this fucking bullshit. If you're in blue and you haven't hit my like button, I think I'm gonna start taking wrenches. William Old School was in the building. Shower is out there. Daryl Alexander. James Galbraith. Universal Truth. Learn. TS Boxing. Chilltown Majors. Soul Power, Gamed Up Kennels, William Old School, Clarence McLean, Rojai, Gnarly Ray, Mind of Massa Musa. like I said, the video, 24 views. More than that have come by to see this post-fight show. So why are you here? What you coming by here for? Seriously. Now I know some of you experts are going to downgrade Lex Rocha now because he got beaten. But you don't know Giovanni Santillan. And you would feel the same for Santillan had Rocha won this fight. But if you had paid attention to the video that I made, which now it appears that I do this shit and I kind of like, am wasting my fucking time. Lex Rocha ended up being in there with a man who was a better fighter than he. It's as simple as that. And there are fighters better than Giovanni. But we won't know unless they get in the ring with him, right? And if guys don't get in the ring, you never know. I've seen these scenarios play out so many times. But even when I talk about them, you don't fucking listen. So why bother? Yeah. Alexis Rocha had already lost to Rashidi Ellis, a boxer, a pure boxer with fast hands and decent footwork. So there was a blueprint already formulated on what his shortcomings would be. But the lack of insight by his personal preparing people, they hadn't calculated the porous holes in his defense and the fact that he can only fight with one gear. I pointed out in my video that Giovanni goes to the body like nobody's business. But he went to the body and the head with equal fiery intensity. And it caught Rocha off balance right away. And he never got in the fight because he started out like 15 to 20 miles an hour. And Giovanni started out at 60, 65. And instead of trying to go out there after a couple of rounds and fighting Giovanni's fight, they were supposed to do the opposite. Giovanni was fighting the way he had prepared to fight. I'm not so certain what Rocha's plan was. And he fought like that. He fought confused. He fought as if he couldn't make adjustments. And when you can't make adjustments, people, you usually end up going down that lonely road of defeat. Salute to Robert Garcia for having Giovanni so well prepared for this particular fight. Because you can't convince me, especially I watched the weigh-in between these guys. I talked about it a little bit yesterday on the Friday night chop session. You can't tell me that they were prepared for Giovanni to come in like that. He fought Rocha like Rocha had did something to a family member of his. One of the ladies in his family. He smacked my sister, disrespected my mom, tried to get with my auntie. Any of that. Put it on him. You know, in the NFL, when they have rookie quarterbacks and quarterbacks that haven't had many starts, the opposing team usually tries to throw some defensive schemes at the quarterback to confuse him and keep him from getting into a rhythm and everything early on. You, as they used to say, you pop him in the mouth a few times and he'll cough that ball up, throw it away, throw it to us or whatever, just to keep from getting hurt. When I was watching in NFL football, that was one of my favorite points of the game, to see those scenarios play out. And in sports now, you know, in boxing, it can go that way as well. You see these guys out here I was just talking last week about a fighter getting hit with rabbit punches behind the head and how I would send my guy out there to handle that situation. See, when you make the proper adjustments, then they have to adjust to you. And oftentimes, fighters are prepared, oftentimes, they're prepared to make one adjustment, but not a couple. See, you should have a game plan A through D. That's realistic. A through D. And sometimes through that alphabet, it may be returned to the original plan after doing something else. And this was the case where Giovanni, once he recognized that Lex wasn't going to adjust, he turned the heat up even more on him. Did you see his face in the second round? The blood and everything. I think he broke his nose with an uppercut. But he was firing upside that boy's head like nobody's business, man. I'm telling you. But I watched this stuff, man. Stormy ain't one of them that just make a video, turn the camera on and be talking. I watch film. I study styles and stuff. That's why I don't always just heads up pick winners. I say who I favor. Because the intangibles that you can't account for often will play a role in a manner that you can't even anticipate. And that could be the difference of the fight. Tonight, the intangible was the fact that Giovanni fought like a dude that was freaking starving and would not be denied. Golden Boy is probably embarrassed. They probably had this focus on Roca when they should have been on Santillan. But you never know until you put guys in a certain scenario. When Rocha went down that first time, did you see the body language, people? He laid there almost resigned to like, I don't think I want to go on. Did you see that? If you saw that, please put a 1 in the chat. Look at this bullshit. You motherfuckers. Almost 100 fucking views. Only 30 likes. I'm not gonna go through this with y'all tonight. I'm not. I got too much life to live. And my health and well-being is more important to me.